We are going to move quick here, so pay attention. Let's get the sexy talk out of the way first. So the concept in this video will be about giving and taking as a mountain biker. And when you give and take, you realize that you can ride much faster and far more in control. The important thing to note as you right there are giving and you right there are taking. So keep that in mind. You're doing the giving, you are doing the taking. It's proactive, it's not reactive. Now let's get to the body positioning and make it all make sense. The positioning that I see far too often that is wrong is riders will come back, shift backward like this, drop their elbows and get in sort of this type of position right here. I call this the praying mantis. I don't know why, it just reminds me of a praying mantis. So usually taller riders have this issue, but generally this position here is what is believed to be like the proper neutral position, and that is wrong. Why? Because if you jump off the bike and you replicate that position, you're gonna find out that you are on your heels and you are unbalanced. Let's get back on the bike. The position that we wanna be in is high on the bike, right? So to be high, we wanna bring our butt up, right? We wanna be proud of that beautiful booty that your mother gave you, all that DNA that poured into you to make this beautiful backside you wanna be proud of. If you have to envision you have a red butt like a monkey, envision that. But bring that red butt up and be proud of it. Cast shadows with that butt. Bring it up, keep those legs kind of straight, right? We don't want to really lock them, because if we lock them, we can run into some joint trouble. So just unlocked, but straight. Weights in our heels. We're on the balls of our feet, on our pedals. Chin over stem, shoulders over bars, and we are ready for anything. Our heads up, our chins up, and we have a great view of the trail. That seems crazy to a lot of people because they feel stood up or they feel exposed to what they are about to encounter. So what makes this the proper position? Well, we can do this. It's as simple as that. We can do this and we can do it balanced. That position on the ground is very strong. We're on the balls of our feet. We're not back on our heels. We're not falling backwards. We are on the balls of our feet. We have a strong position, right? We are ready to take on the world. We're ready to take on sumo wrestlers. We're ready to take on thugs in the street. We're ready for everything. So this position here, you can envision it in two ways. I do that and allow the earth to come up into me. Earth's coming into me. Or I do this and I'm pushing away from the earth, I'm popping. In both instances, right, I'm giving and I'm taking. So if you wanna pop and be active on the trail, why would you wanna be stood up so high? Well, if you go out on the ground and I say, yo, Jeremy, jump up and see how high you can touch on that tree. You're not gonna come over here, you're not gonna squat down and then jump up. You're not gonna squat and freeze, it's just, that's not what you're gonna do. You're gonna come, you're gonna extend upward, and then you're gonna go down and be explosive upward, right? So it all starts from this high body position. Here's the other thing I wanna mention. You're gonna say, Josh, doesn't that put a lot of weight in your hands? And even with these goofy ass high-rise bars that I have, which I love, I told you I loved them a couple months ago. So see how light my hands can be and still be in that strong, ready position? I can take them off the bars, I can be strong, I can be balanced in this position. I'm not putting a lot of weight on my upper body. Now there are times where you'll transition some weight to the front wheel, and what that'll do is it'll put weight into your hands, but that's for another video down the road. So now that we know the body positioning, we're gonna talk about the technique, but let's first look at the types of trails. We're gonna make this super simple. These are the types of trails that you are going to encounter. So let's look at Earth's canvas and let's talk about the trails we are going to encounter. We're gonna encounter flat trails. Easy breezy, we know how to handle those. Then we're also going to encounter roly-poly trails with bumps on them, right? Then we're going to encounter rugged trails. And those are gonna be rugged, but they too are gonna have bumps on them. It's as simple as that. Those are the only trails we will encounter in life. So let's talk about how this technique will work on those trails and in any scenario. So the concept that we are going to apply in this video to gain speed and control on any trail is the idea of pumping the trail. Now, a lot of other videos that'll teach you how to pump will tell you to go to a pump track. And lucky for those individuals, they typically have a pump track right down the road. Most people, myself included, don't have a pump track anywhere near them. But this is an idea that you can just apply directly on the trails. The beauty of it is it's far more complex than just going to a pump track and pumping rollers. However, it can be taught very simply and have a huge, tremendous impact on your quality of riding, your speed, and your control, and that's why we're here today. First things first, let's take it slow. As you ride down any trail, you are gonna wanna look ahead and look for anything that looks like a bump or a mound, anything that wants to throw you off balance. Okay, so we're gonna look ahead and scan the trail. Right here we have some roots, there's a bump. This root here's a bump. These roots are bumps. and we come into a turn, and this is a really tame section of single track, but yet it's still full of bumps. Bump, here's a bump, and another bump. So just in that very tame section of single track, I identified a whole ton of bumps, right? So if you can look ahead and identify bumps like that, congratulations, you've learned why it's so important to look ahead and scan the trail ahead of you. So now what you need to know is each one of those bumps, when you hit it with your body mass and you are stiff on the bike, you are pushed back in the praying mantis position, each of those bumps is going to knock you off balance just a very little bit. Now, these are baby bumps, they're easy bumps, so likely they will not cause you to lose control. But these are great bumps to learn how to give and take to gain control so we can move up to the bigger stuff and really ride fast and pump in control. So those bumps, they want to push you off balance. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna let that happen. We're gonna take them away. So we're gonna let the bike absorb up into us, right? We're gonna let it come into us. That's why we were riding high. And right after we're done with that bump, we're gonna extend down with our legs and stand up again and be really heavy with our feet. What that's going to do is it's gonna be like a little like Mario Kart speed boost. Because we're heavy on the backside, the downside of the bump, it's gonna push us forward. Hey, let the production crew know that I'm gonna give them $10,000. That's a huge budget because I want this next sequence to really demonstrate why you get a little speed boost on the backside of a bump. So they got to spend as much of that $10,000 as they can on production to really sell this. I'm hoping for a really high level of production, but I mean, if they have a couple dollars left over, they can buy lunch with it. But let's cut to what they produce right now. Sweet, we're back, and the production team, I'm sure, put something together super high level. Now let's turn around, let's ride it a little faster. We're looking for those bumps, and again, we're gonna absorb them with our legs. We're gonna let the bike come up into us. And right when we get over the bump, we're gonna go back to being heavy on our feet. So we can do this on any of these bumps, right? No bump is too small to do it on. And what you're gonna notice is you start to pick up speed when you pump into these bumps, right? You're pumping with your legs, you're hinging. We're gonna be heavy on the backside of all these, and we're light on the front side. You can go very slow like I just did and really push into the ground, and you're gonna feel what that speed boost does to you. So here is the cool thing, even on a simple section like that, not only did it give you little speed boosts without pedaling, but it also meant that you were not getting pushed around by those bumps. Those bumps weren't trying to knock you off balance, right? You took that away from them. You were in complete control, and you were riding proactive and not reactive. Additionally, at every instance when you were heavy on those pedals, as you pushed down into the ground, you had great traction, and great traction means great control. So that is the easiest way to start working on the idea of pumping a trail. It's safe, it's not dangerous, and you can sort of teach your body how to figure it out as you go. Now, important to remember is you're pumping with intention. You're not just bouncing down the trail. Let's go to something a little bit more technical, a little bit more complex. Now at this stage, you don't really want to worry about jumping things, though jumping will become a part of the process later on down the road. If you learn to bump jump, it's a great technique and a skill to have that will actually expand the benefits of pumping a trail, but you don't have to worry about getting air right now. So essentially, you just want to stand high before the bump so that you have that body suspension to absorb that bump. I just want to reiterate that when you are absorbing bumps and chatter after a pump, so you're light, you're not really trying to pull the bike up under you with your hands or your feet. What that can do is actually pull your upper body down into the bike. Instead, what you're gonna find is when you push into the trail and there's moments of heaviness followed by the moment of lightness, what's gonna happen is that bike's gonna come right up under you. It's gonna kind of float up under you, and you're gonna really feel a great rebound, like a great result of that strong push. So it's not really lifting it up, it's letting it float. Now let's go find some chunky or more chattery stuff to figure out how we can utilize the pumping technique to gain speed and control, pump, and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna pump all along here, all this easy stuff. I'm just heavy on the backside, right? I'm looking ahead, pushing into the ground, high on the bike. It's getting a little chunkier. We can do better than this though. So we're pushing back up a section that I just rode, and it's chunky. It might not look as chunky on camera as it does in real life, but there are a lot of rocks here. So unlike what we talked about previously, where there were sections where we were obviously going to be heavy on the backside of bumps, this is a little less obvious because we have all this chunky stuff that just wants to knock us off balance. So what we want to do is we want to instead think about places where we can be heavy and have control and where we can be light. The places where we can be heavy and have control are obviously smoother than the places where we want to be light. The reason being is when we can be light over the chunky stuff, that chunky stuff has no input on our ride, and it's not going to beat us up, it's not going to punch us, it's not going to push us around. We essentially take that away from the trail. So we're going to be light and we're going to skim over the chattery stuff. And then we're going to be heavy and have great control because we're heavy. There's a lot of weight on our tires and it's pushing into the trail. Then we're going to go light again and skim over it. It's going to take some practice. And if you watch my last video, you'll know the importance of sessioning in a trail and just kind of figuring out what feels wrong and what feels right. That's the only way you know how to apply techniques, is when you know what feels wrong. So if you didn't watch that, all is forgiven. Go check that out. Let's ride through here a couple times and figure out how we can find places to be heavy and places to be light. Let's just start on this rock again. These techniques apply to any trail of any conditions, but unfortunately I can't show you your trail. I can only show you this trail. So if I were to come over this rock on the bike, obviously I would be heavy as I drove down into this section here, which is perfect because there's a chunky set of rocks right here that I'm going to be light for. So immediately after you're heavy, it's the easiest to be light. So I'm going to be heavy, I'm going to be light and absorb that, and then I have a turn, so I want to be heavy in a turn. I'm coming through here in my neutral position, then I'm going to be light here. I'm just going to absorb this, heavy, and then light, okay? And then it can be heavy through here. Heavy just means that you're not absorbing the trail. You're kind of just putting your weight in your feet. We want to be heavy in a lot of these sections because it's going to give us good traction. Right here, it's going to get chunky, so I'm going to absorb this. I'm going to get light, then I have to be heavy again because I can't be light forever. Okay, and I'm pumping through here. Right here's a great spot to be light. I can be heavy right here is a great section to be heavy. And I'm going to be light right here, which means I have to be heavy through here. And I can be light right here, which means I'm going to be heavy through here, light here, heavy, and light. Okay, essentially what I'll do is just tell you the points where I'm being light, because every other point I'm going to be heavy, right? Okay, so light here, light, 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 light. So everywhere in between those lights, I was really heavy on the tires, and a lot of those points were in turns, which is good because I needed that traction and control. So this is a good reminder that you still want to have that high forward body positioning and not shift backward because you're picking up speed and chunky stuff. If you pick up speed and chunky stuff and you shift backward, your front end's going to bounce all around. You're going to lose control. More of your weight's going to be on your back wheel, which means you're not optimizing your suspension performance. You really want to make sure that your heels are down and your legs are strong. That'll allow you the ability to kind of plow through stuff if you get your timing off or if you make the wrong decision. As you pick up more speed and ride faster and do this pumping technique, you're going to realize that it's really subtle. It's kind of like just a subtle give and a subtle take that produces like a great outcome. Shout out, you are on my chest. So my bike is particularly noisy right now because I think it knows there's another frame in the garage and the old girl's getting worried. But I'm going to use this as a demonstration point. So listen to the sound my bike makes when I don't pump the trail versus the sound it makes when I pump the trail. I'm not going to pump. No pumping. Oh my God. Oh. That is the sound of getting constantly beat up right there. Let's ride proactive and listen to what my bike sounds like. Pump it up. Listen to my heart. All right, we're gonna pump. So did you hear the difference? Well, the difference was every time you heard the noise when I pumped the trail, that was me being heavy on the bike and having complete control, full traction of the trail. Whereas when you heard the noise when I wasn't pumping the trail, that was me getting beat up, me bouncing around all of the little rocks, all of the little angles. No real control, no real traction. You don't want to ride through chunky stuff super fast. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you just like to go on easy group rides, but you want to feel like you're in control. Maybe you want to feel like you're progressing and, you know, building up some skill set on the trail. So I'm going to finish off this trail here from your perspective. Now we're not going to ride super slow, but we're going to ride like a group ride speed perhaps. So what I'm going to do is just tell you all the places I'm heavy, and that's where I'm pushing into the ground. And I'm going to tell you where I'm light, okay? Light, heavy, 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 light, heavy, heavy, light, light, heavy, 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 light, heavy, 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 heavy. Okay, light, 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 heavy. We're gonna go around this. Light, 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 heavy, heavy, light, light, heavy, heavy. Active, just simply being heavy when I wanted to push into the pedals, and light when I wanted to absorb the ground, was pumping the trail. So I do my best to make this stuff simple, so hopefully you found this was simple. I know I can't answer every question or address every scenario, but I do my best, and if you found this helpful, give it a like, hit subscribe. I don't ask you to buy anything. I certainly don't sell you anything. So I'm going to try to come around this turn here. It's tighter than it looks on camera. I'm going to try to pop off this rock and gap, I guess, that rock right there. Think we can do it? We're going to try.